Hello, TradingView community. Welcome to my new analysis about PayPal. And PayPal, as we have seen this huge dump to the downside, is now still in a really crucial state. And this is why I am doing my video today. And because of this huge PayPal dump to the downside, showing up with this major bearish volatility, this was such a momentous move for PayPal. And PayPal, as you may know, is a major player within the financial industry, and this actually made the gravestone for PayPal. This was a doomsday scenario for PayPal, bouncing to the downside, accelerating with heavy bearish dynamics to the downside, and do not backing up or showing any signs of a backup here within this whole structure. This was such a doomsday scenario for PayPal that it did not manage it to recover from this bearish perspective. And now a big question within this whole dynamic is if PayPal actually has the ability to recover from these heavy bearish momentum shocks within this whole structure, or it continues with the major bearish developments that it already has set up with. And this was such a huge dump, more than 80% to the downside. This was a major bear market scenario for PayPal, and not all stocks have shown up with this huge bearish downside. PayPal liquidated a lot of long positions here. 1 billion long positions liquidated from here on. The further 100 billion long positions liquidated from here on. This were actually 200 billion long positions liquidated. 100 billion long positions liquidated, 200 billion long positions liquidated. The next 50 billion long positions were liquidated after PayPal pulled it back from the 90 area towards the 70 area. These were some huge historical long liquidations that PayPal has shown up with here. And a huge question is now, if PayPal continues with this major bearish development, these huge bearish price actions, therefore it is necessary to firstly look at the local time frame perspectives. And what has to be mentioned here for the local time frame perspectives is that on the local time frame perspective, PayPal also showed up with this huge dump over 25% to the downside since August 2023. In 1 month, PayPal dumped more than 25%. This was actually one of the most dumpers within the market. And this is actually a really crucial dynamic, firstly here on the local time frames. And this can also accelerate on the global bigger time frames as well. And therefore, PayPal actually emerged now with this ABC pattern. And here within the structure, PayPal is now developing this really crucial ascending continuation triangle formation that, once it has been completed with the breakout below the lower boundary, this will set up the next continuations into the lower target dimensions. And from there on, PayPal will accelerate with heavy bearish dynamics into these dynamics, especially as PayPal is now forming this weak VRF rally with low volume. The volume is more and more decreasing here. This means that PayPal is ripe for a completion of this ascending triangle formation here on the local structure, which will actually show up with a huge bearish breakdown to the downside. And therefore, in this case, the next target projections can be projected onto the lower boundary. And in this case, PayPal will at least reach out to the 47 area once this wall formation structure has been completed here in this wall formation structure. And what this means on the bigger picture is also really important. Therefore, this will be the next important price action to determine for PayPal in the next times. This main ascending wedge formation here on the local time frame structures. And when also looking at the daily time frame perspective, PayPal is actually developing this huge formational structure here. And this is actually a wedge formation which will be broken to the downside, and this will accelerate the heavy bearish dynamics for PayPal within this whole price action dynamic. Therefore, this ascending wedge formation completion will be a really highly crucial move for PayPal to watch out within the next times. And when looking at this whole dynamic on the weekly time frame perspective as well, here is a much larger formation which is actually forming here. This formation is actually a huge head and shoulders formation. This is a huge head and shoulders formation. This head and shoulders formation is such a large head and shoulders formation. Not all stocks within the market build such a head and shoulders formation. This is a gigantic head and shoulders formation. And this head and shoulders formation will be completed once the breakdown below these areas have been set up. And what this means for the whole price action of PayPal is that PayPal will actually accelerate heavy dynamics, heavy bearish dynamics once the breakdown below these dynamics have set up. And this will actually move at least 80% to the downside and accelerate the next 500 billion liquidations within the market. And what this means for the price action is that this will be a huge doomsday scenario, much larger than the one already seen before. And PayPal also is in a crucial state because the CBDC implementation is moving forward. Many state treasuries accelerate their CBDC implementation, and this means that classical economic money transfer providers such as PayPal show up with these bearish dynamics to the downside, especially PayPal. PayPal was one of the mass dumpers within this market. And there's also the room of a implementation of a gold-backed currency. And when a gold-backed currency is implemented within the economies, this means that this will also be a really bearish dynamic, a really bearish sign for PayPal to accelerate within this whole structure. And therefore, these will also be some very important dynamics. Therefore, it will be really important to watch out for this gold-backed currency, which could actually trigger some further bearish price actions and especially complete this gigantic head and shoulders formation here within the next times. And what this means for the whole price action here is that within this whole dump, PayPal dump it over 400 billion long positions. And when this next leg to the downside accelerates, this will be the next dump of the next 500 billion long positions. And therefore, these will be some very important dynamics to watch out for PayPal here. And it will be, in this case, a really, really important dynamic to consider within the next times, especially when considering a appropriate positioning within the market to hedge against such a bearish downturns within the market. It is really necessary to watch out for these terms and to position oneself on the right positioning. In this case, it would be the short side. In other cases, it can still be the long side. This is what a total return within the market means. And with this being said, this is why we are keeping PayPal on the potential short candidates watch list. With this being said, it will be great when you support my project further with a like, follow, and comment. With this being said, bye bye.